Hello, good morning, class. Okay, I hope you are in good conditions. Yes, because I've got the problem with the recording on my Zoom, so I decided to have a recording, live streaming. I mean on the YouTube. So, okay, on this class we are going to focus on the what is it? Making variations in a classroom activities. But anyway, before we start our discussions, okay, I hope that you are in a good conditions, and then you still keep your health protocols to avoid COVID-19 pandemic. Yes, before we start our explanations, okay, let me or allow me to do share screen. Okay, I hope that you can see my share screen clearly. So making variations. Yes, once you got the point about making variations or maybe variation in a classroom. Okay, so what do you think? Yes, variations, as it is stated, that variations is a kind of style, kind of strategy, a kind of technique from the teachers. So the variations happened in a teaching and learning process. Okay, in order to avoid boredom and inattractiveness in a classroom activities. So as a teacher, what should we do in making variation in a classroom activity so that the teacher or and the students especially avoid boredom and also attractive and interesting to do classroom activities. Okay, before we go on to the elaborations, okay, let me share you the objectives of the meeting. First, okay, you at the end of the classroom activities or at the end of this meeting, okay, you have to comprehend some variation used in teaching and learning process. And then the second ones, apply these variations in a classroom activities. Yes, okay, it is quite important for you to be implemented in a classroom activities because, okay, on the next semester, you will have teaching practice in some schools, and then you have to apply this variation in your classroom activities so that your teaching activities or during the classroom activities, your students can engage actively. And then the last one, okay, you also need to consider to save the variations in virtual meetings. And in this meeting, we are going to focus on these variations and what is it, regular meeting or direct meeting. But because this one is pandemic era, so you have to consider, you have to think about these variations implemented in virtual meetings. Okay, it can be asynchronous, it can be synchronous mode. And what are these variations? Okay, some variation will be deliberately explanations. Okay, on this meeting. Okay, for the first one is voice variations. Yes, of course, as a teacher, we need to have voice variations. So for the exact example for this one, for the voice variations, you may use some kind of what is it? Imaginations for the animals and then imaginations for some characters that popular, okay, for them. Okay, especially it is important when you teach English, okay, for young learners, okay, and then you tell them the story, okay, as or storytelling. So okay, how should we implement voice variations? Okay, this will include changes in the tone, pitch, volume, and speed. A pleasant conversational talking style seems best for the teachers to adopt, and this will naturally include moderate vocal variations such as those mentioned. There will be occasions, however, when the teacher may need to make more deliberate variation to dramatize an event, emphasize points, relate quietly to an individual pupil, speak sharply to an inattentive child, and so on. Okay, yes, actually, this one is a strategy for the teacher to implement, okay, voice variations, and it's quite important for you to know and to implement when you are the teacher. Because why? Some of the students maybe feel bored, maybe feel uninteresting toward your teaching and learning process. So by using voice variation, okay, your teaching and learning process will be in life will be attractive and etc. Okay, for example, for the voice variation, as I said before, that you can use some imaginations of the animals' voice, and then you can use volume and speed with the different one. As I said before, as I did before, that I also read you for this one. There will be occasions, comma, however, yes, okay, the word however, I use voice variations, okay, to make you emphasize something, yeah. Okay, and then the next one is focusing. Yes, it's also quite important for you to implement in your classroom activities. So what is focusing? To focus attention on significant or key aspects, the teacher may use verbal markers for importance, such as watch closely. Now, this is important. Such verbal focusing is often accompanied by gesture focusing, where the teacher points to an object or taps the blackboard for emphasis. Yes, actually, this is still a direct meeting or not the virtual meeting. So what you need to consider, you have to consider when or maybe how should you do when the meeting is virtual meeting. Again, okay. Maybe we will have virtual meeting, although, or maybe both on synchronous and also asynchronous meetings. But again, okay, today we focus on direct or regular meeting. The next one, pausing. Yes, pausing is quite important for you to know. Okay, because why? Because when we talk with our students with different or with a heterogeneous background, it's quite important for us to use pause by pause strategy. So what is pausing? Pausing is the insertions of spaces of silence in teacher talk, and teaching activity is another attention demanding device. It captures attention by changing the stimulus from one of noise to quiet, or from one of activity to inactivity. It can be used to break teaching into easily processed units, marking the end of one teaching segment and preparing the pupils for the next. Yeah. In questioning sequences, the teacher's use of pausing or wait time after asking questions allows pupils to organize more complete answers. In discussion, pausing allows pupils to reflect on what has been said. Yes, as we did last 2 weeks, actually we also use this strategy to make our students think first, and after that, okay, let students elaborate or maybe present their best answers. For example, okay, I'm the teachers, and then I deliver the question to the students. Students, okay, can you mention, okay, what is the process or what is the procedures of making iced tea, for example? And then just give pause, okay, to your students, and then just give some time to your students to think and consider first, and then after that, okay, let them answer with their best feedback and also few points. Okay, and then the next one, eye contact. Yeah, eye contact is quite important for you to know. So that's why I usually, give you obligation to on the camera when we do teaching and learning process. So when talking to or interacting with pupils, the teacher should gaze around the classroom, meeting people's eyes, establishing a positive relationship, and avoiding impersonality. Eye contact may also be used to convey information and respond to an answer or command. By fixing his or her gaze on inattentive pupils, the teacher can gain their attention, or by shifting eye contact, gauge pupil interest and understanding. Actually, this is very easy to be implemented in a direct classroom, but I'm not sure when we are in virtual meeting, right? Why? Because, okay, in virtual meeting, there are so many troubles between teacher and also students because we are not in a same place, okay, because we are in different place. So we only use our virtual face, so we can what is it? We can guess, we can catch, okay, whether our students have a good attention to our classroom or not. So what we have to do, so actually you have to some kind of first rules that give you some rules to the students, in which students should on the camera and then should what is it, straight forward to the camera and etc and etc. So it can be make you easily to measure your students eye contact or give you eye contact, good eye contact or not. The next one is gesturing. Yes, gesturing is quite good for you, whether it is or both it is in virtual and also in direct meetings. So variation in facial expression, hand, head, and body movements are an important aspect of communications. Of course, this is for a direct or regular meeting. A smile or frown, a wave of the hand on turning toward a particular pupil not only attract attention but help convey the meaning of the oral message. Yes, direct meeting is very important for you to implement this gesturing. But I'm not sure when we do a virtual meeting. Okay, such for example is body movement. Yes, because we are limited in body movement in gesturing. So just take a rules, classroom rules that you have to on camera and then you have to strike forward on camera and then you have to make the good attire or maybe polite attire when classroom activities and etc. Body movement, I think it's not implemented very applicable in a classroom activity when we do virtual meeting. So the last one, movement, as I said, we don't have any kind of movement in a virtual meeting, but okay, if you can do in a regular or direct meeting, you used to do that. Okay, some theories also said that good teacher never sit down. Yes, okay. I think this theory is from Hermer. Yeah, in Hermer's book said that good teacher never sit down. Yeah, but it is not applicable when we talk in virtual meeting or synchronous or virtual face-to-face meeting. Why? Because all of us is sit down. Yes, the next one, case for you. Okay, after we have learned about making variations in a classroom activities. Okay, but okay, now we are in different era, in a pandemic era. So do you think these variations can be implemented in virtual classroom? Please attach your considerations why this variation can be implemented, why this variation can be implemented in a classroom activities, and submit your feedback on our thread, okay, on Google Classroom. Okay, goodbye. See you. Have a nice day.